You know, finally he was here, this little baby that we just were loving so much for 9 months, just thinking about him every day and wondering what he was going to look like and whose nose he was going to have and if he was going to be a redhead. And then all of a sudden he was everything was amazing, and now we have this awesome little baby.
From that point on, our lives changed completely. When we found out Jen was pregnant, it was only probably 4 or 6 weeks after I had gotten out of the hospital. We both were still dealing with the fact that we almost lost each other, and you know, our lives are in chaos. But at the same time, I think it was good because it refocused all of that emotion and all of that energy onto something positive, like beginning to raise our child, you know, from the womb. At the time, we were just two young people working in New York City, you know, living in a small apartment on the Lower East Side. Definitely didn't have plans to have a kid anytime soon.
I think I was instantly okay with having a baby because I didn't really have time to try to get used to the idea. I just automatically knew that it was happening and was okay with it, and just wanted to do everything that I could to make sure that we had like a healthy and happy baby.
I can't even describe the way I felt. I mean, it's like it's in your hands, everything. It's your responsibility.
The first time I heard the heartbeat was amazing. I think I was only about, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks pregnant at the time. So you have this tiny, tiny thing inside of you, but it already has a heartbeat, and it just becomes so real at that point. My midwives, both Sandy and Corey, thought that I was probably not going to make it to my due date because I started dilating in December.
Our midwives are telling us, you know, he might come early. It looks like he's going to come early. He's in the right position. You're big enough, and everything's looking good.
But the due date came around, and he still wasn't born. And by that point, because we thought he was going to come early, it seemed like he was late already.
January 17th, 9 days after our initial due date, Jen drank castor oil for the 3rd time.
I had what I thought was my first real labor contraction or pain at around, I think it was 4:30.
She said, I think this might be it. I think it might be happening. And we were extremely excited because on the following Tuesday, we were already scheduled for an induction if things didn't happen naturally.
Our aunt and Uncle Jim and Addie came over in the late evening, probably midnight or so, and sat and helped out for a couple of hours until we decided it was time to go to the hospital.
I'll never forget driving on the BQE through Brooklyn in Dumbo and Brooklyn Heights and seeing Manhattan skyline on the left there at night, and Jen and Addie in the back seat. It was fun and exciting, you know, and it wasn't an extreme drama like on TV. It was screaming and fluid everywhere.
And we got there probably around 3 in the morning. And our midwife, Corey, met us there, and we just began a very long day of trying to have a baby. We walked the halls, and Raymond helped me so much.
I definitely didn't want to overdo it by acting like I knew what she was going through or acting like I knew what she should be doing, you know. We really just tried to listen to her body and listen to her, the way she felt, and just pay attention to what was happening and just kind of try to let it happen.
We were doing very good. We were doing really good for a few hours until maybe 1 in the afternoon. I got checked and I was still at 8 centimeters, and we had kind of hit a wall. We were not making any progress, and my contractions were getting so much worse, and it was getting to a point to where I was having a really hard time coping. Corey said that the reason we weren't making much progress at this point was because Julian was face up and not face down, but we just got to a point to where it just was not happening anymore. I was not coping very well. So I ended up getting an epidural, and once that happened, it was only about 10 minutes, and then I was almost ready to have my baby. Because my labor was so long, I think by this point we had been at the hospital about 16 hours. So I was pushing him, and we got to a point where she just looked at me and said, we need to get this baby out. And she ran out of the room to make sure there was a doctor around just in case we needed some assistance. And at that point, I think I started to get a little worried. I know Ray started to get a little worried.
Everything was a build-up to this moment that was about to happen.
I just decided to muster everything that I had within myself and just push him out, like push past the pain and past everything, and just know that it was up to me to get him out. I wanted to do it on my own. I didn't want to end up having a cesarean. I just really wanted him to come into the world, as peacefully as possible. And so I mustered everything I had and tried to not get scared from the pain and just pushed him out.
And I just remember standing there, and I didn't know what to do with, I just didn't know what to do with myself. I just said to Jen, our baby is here, I don't even remember what I said, but I just said, oh my God, and I just was standing there. And I was just so proud that we had done it, and everyone was okay. I was just so happy for us.
When he was born, he was this perfect little baby. From the very beginning, he was so beautiful, and it was just the best feeling of my life.
It seemed like immediately Jen was holding him, and he was laying on her, and he wasn't even crying. He just seemed extremely peaceful, and we were just there together, and we were a family.
It's just so worth it. I would do it 100 times over, even though I didn't have the type of birth that I thought I was going to have, and even though it was a lot harder and a lot more painful than I had ever anticipated it to be, I would do it 1,000 times just to still have what we have. It's awesome.